Hello, ngHouston. So I don't know if this is working. We've had some technical difficulties this morning. Let me see, is it working? Yes, it's working. Okay, so we are back, and this time we actually have guests. So sorry about all the delays this morning. We had some crazy stuff going on with YouTube. So today I'm very excited to have Valor Software on the show. We have not had Valor Software on the show, and so we have Vitaly and Ludmila are going to come on and talk to us. Some really cool stuff going on with Ivy and ngx-Bootstrap. I have actually a chance to look at this at all yet. And actually, this is the first time that I've talked to Vitaly and Ludmila. So if you guys can just tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what's it like working at Valor Software.
I'm Vitaly Makohon, and I'm a JavaScript developer in Valor Software. We lead ngx-Bootstrap project together with Ludmila, and it's a very cool company with many interesting projects and interesting tasks. And maybe Ludmila won't say something.
So yes, my name is Ludmila. Working with Valor Software a lot of time on position of QA engineer, mostly automation. So my main stack is automating like end-to-end tests with Cypress, Protractor, and so on. And currently I'm working with ngx-Bootstrap library, testing it, writing tests for it, and hope today we will enjoy with our talk about Ivy and ngx-Bootstrap.
I think this is going to be great. Okay, so before we get started, you guys tell us something we don't know about Dimitri. Is he nice to you guys? Is he mean to you guys? Let's give us the scoop. Don't worry, we won't tell him.
He very cool guy, very nice boss.
He paid you to say that, didn't
he? Good man, I like it.
He know a lot of jokes, and maybe he like dogs and daughter.
There you go. There you go. That's some good inside information about Dimitri. Okay, so we got a little bit of a late start today, so we probably should jump right in. And I think, Vitaly, are you going to start? Because I really haven't had a chance to look at ngx-Bootstrap, so hopefully you're going to start with telling us what it is. I know there's been a lot of hype about Ivy, so I know we're starting pretty late. Do you want to just share your screen with us?
He might have forgotten that he's muted. Oh, that's me.
No, he did.
That's me twice. Shall I switch to him then?
I think you're sharing. He's sharing the wrong screen. He's sharing a screen with us.
It's a Bonnieception right there.
Yeah. More Bonnie than you probably need.
None of that.
You hear me?
Well, we're seeing the Hangouts, so I think you decided to share the wrong screen there.
There we
go.
There we go. All right.
Let's go.
Ivy. Let's talk about Ivy.
You're muted, Vitaly.
We can't hear you, Vitaly.
You hear me?
Yes,
there we go.
We can hear
now
you.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Integrating Ivy to ngx-Bootstrap. And I told you that I'm a JavaScript developer in ngx-Bootstrap core team, and I work in Valor Software company. And Ivy, what is that? Ivy is a third generation of Angular renderer with a significant refactoring of the compiler. In short, It is third in line after the original template compiler for Angular 2 and renderer 2 for Angular 4 and above. How can we benefit from Ivy? It helps us to reach better build times thanks to incremental compilation. Ivy follows the locality principle where only one file is compiled at a time. It generates output only for current component and its template without other dependencies. This leads to the faster compilation and simplifies the process. Ivy makes a bundle smaller and faster, which will be especially useful for mobiles. With a generated code more compatible with tree shaking, if you don't use something from Angular, it won't be included. For that, it uses more efficient tree shaking, removing unused pieces of your code, which gives smaller bundles and faster load times. Also, it sets the ground for Angular elements to become more popular in our applications. Angular elements can gain popularity due to large resulting bundles. This way, having smaller and faster bundles with the help of Ivy will make Angular elements more popular. Ivy is easy to debug. Since Ivy pipelining is simplified, templates will be part of the stack trace. We won't have more cryptic error messages when something is broken in our template because we'll see the exact line number of the error. We'll even be able to set breakpoints in our templates to debug them. The fifth benefit is that it uses a new change detection system that is not based on Zone.js. Ivy opens a few possibilities for the future. For now, we already can run an application without Zone.js and to semi-manually handle change detection. And the last, sixth benefit, Ivy uses higher order components and mixins. With locality, Ivy gives us more opportunity for metaprogramming, like higher order components and the ability to dynamically generate modules, components, or pipes. How does the current second generation renderer work? Renderer 2 is a view engine for Angular 4 and above, and it is quite different from Ivy in ways of compilation and performance. Currently, in the Renderer 2 pipeline, the template HTML that we are written runs through the Angular compiler and generates highly optimized JS code that represents the structure of your template. At runtime, this data structure is passed to the Angular interpreter, which uses the data to determine how to create the DOM. The evolution of Angular View Engine. As you can see from the picture, the code gets smaller with time. The renderer of second generation works not bad, but could be better. Inside, it uses similar code. As we can see from the code, conditional flag is set to false. That's why the code with get some data will never be reached. Unfortunately, despite the flag, the code of the method will be added to the bundle. So how does Ivy work? Ivy, just like the earlier versions of the Angular compiler, takes the templates and components we write in Angular and generates them into regular HTML and JavaScript, which can be read and displayed by the browser. In Ivy rendering pipeline, Ivy removes one extra step and starts creating instructions directly. This is the code that was produced by Ivy. Ivy breaks things down into smaller, more atomic functions. These atomic functions make the render code much more friendly to tree shaking because they generate the code that you only need from your template. It changed a lot, but a few main differences are important here. We don't have factory files anymore. Now all the decorators are converted into static functions. In our example, the component decorator converted to ng component def. The set of instruction has changed, so it can be shakeable and will be much smaller. Earlier, with the previous render, template code that worked in JIT just in time would not compile to out ahead of time. Since locality has simplified the process, it means that library creators will be able to ship out code through an NPM registry and will have an equivalence between out and JIT. As we can see, the names of the instructions start with BART Latin O. It means that it is Angular private API, so it could change at any time. ref is short for render flag, which divides a function into two sections. The first section runs when component is created, and second runs when it updated. CTX is context, data that is passed from component class instances. As you can see from the code, the instructions which create in the nodes, element start and text, pass indices. When the component is updated, the template is not completely redrawn, but the nodes update only when the context is changed. In this case, it's a text node with identifier 1, in which the value was updated by the text binding function. If you don't use some of the core features, they will be removed from your bundle. Debugging with Ivy. As you can see from the picture, the errors with Ivy become more detailed. Angular 8 brings a new API for loading modules. It now supports ES6 dynamic import. From now, we already can add a component to a view without declaring into modules. Here is an example. As we just saw, Angular is now much more dynamic, and it also allows us to implement advanced concepts like hook. Hook is a function that gets a component and returns the component, but also affecting them in between. In the example, hook affecting fields, count, and component name. Also, it renders a lazy component to the view in between. So, integrating Ivy to ngx-Bootstrap. We had two sub-goals: to make ngx-Bootstrap compatible with other projects which use ngx-Bootstrap and Ivy enabled, and to make all of our demos Ivy enabled compatible. Angular package format is more suitable for libraries which are trying to implement Ivy. ngx-Bootstrap already builds in Angular package format, so for us it was easy. The next was adding a static parameter to all viewChild and contentChild decorators. You can try to use schematic command ngupdate, but in some cases it will fail. Anyway, it will add a comment about that to each line where it happens. For most cases, it will be okay to use static false. The next issue which we faced was a SPED operator that didn't work inside the module declaration. By the way, this issue was fixed in new Angular version, was checked in Angular 8.1.2. From that moment, ngx-Bootstrap was ready to use Ivy. But we have our second goal to make the demo application Ivy compatible. The first issue which we faced was the issue related to Angular 8. The Angular team changed the TypeScript output to ES6. So to fix the issue, we temporarily monkey patched Angular. By the way, this issue was fixed from Angular 8.1.2 version. The second issue which we faced was in G-type check error. Property in HTML does not exist on type HTML paragraph element. To fix this issue, we changed all occurrences of inner HTML to inner HTML, where HTML in uppercase. The next issue which we faced was related to deprecated renderer version 1. To fix this issue, we had to change all our usage of renderer 1 to renderer 2 version. And the next issue which we faced was can bind to ng class, can bind to ng if error. Our library and demo application which uses this library live in a mono repo. So for the demo application to use the ngx-Bootstrap library as if it was installed from npm packages, we had to link our dist compiled library with the node modules folder named ngx-Bootstrap. However, unfortunately, the dist binding to node modules can't be handled by Ivy. So the compiled ngx-Bootstrap must be placed directly inside the node modules. The fifth issue which we faced was related to Ivy breaking change. Property in the component decorator, such as host, can be inherited. Previously, it could not be inherited. Previously, only properties with explicit field decorators like host binding were inherited. And finally, the last issue was related to broken event triggering inside unit tests. Some of the comments from the Angular team about the issue, this is an area that is still undergoing some desync considerations. To fix the issue, we used a third-party library which could do that. So other Ivy issues and breaking changes that may also arise. Ivy has not had support in the initialization and localization yet. All injected or provided tokens should have injectable decorator. Content children queries will search only direct child nodes in the DOM hierarchy by default. Queries of content child and content children will no longer be able to match their directives on host node. The module injector is not searched for the token if a token is injected with the host or self flag. From now, before change detection runs, unbound inputs for directives are now set upon creation of the view. Change detection will occur for some template only when its insertion point is checked. In cases when a template is declared in one view but inserted into a different view. For testing, modify the lifecycle hook on the type, because it is no longer possible to switch out lifecycle hooks on specific instances. Template ref or view container ref, for example, return a new instance whenever they are requested. This primarily affects testing. When we accessing multiple local refs with the same name in template bindings, the first is matched. Previously, the last was matched. Directives that are used in an exported module but not exported themselves will be exported without an alias. External functions or external constants from decorator metadata weren't statically resolvable. Sending the references to directive inputs accessed through local refs by default will no longer be supported. So what was the profit from implementing Ivy to ngx-Bootstrap? Compilation time with Ivy engine instead of the Vue engine. In general, compilation time was reduced by 8%. Bundle size with Ivy engine instead of the Vue engine. ES5 bundle size was reduced by 12%. ES6, 13%. And unfortunately, after gzipping, Ivy didn't show us any signs of improvement. In general, the gzipped bundle size was increased by 2%. But I have to remind you that Angular team is still working to improve bundle size. So we are looking forward to Angular 9. Thanks for your attention, and Ludmila will tell us a bit about testing Ivy and not only.
Okay, thank you, Vitaly. For continue, I need to share my screen.
That last slide was perfect, Vitaly, because Baljeet was in the chat and he was saying, hey, I tried the opt-in preview and the bundle size wasn't really that much smaller. And then your last slide was like, okay, so the bundle size is not that much smaller yet.
Yeah.
But it's good that you addressed that. But it's so it will be, so because the reason why the bundle size is not that much smaller is because they're not finished yet, right? But it is going to be, the intention is that it will be smaller and faster.
We hope.
If you do it, but it's not done yet, y'all.
If we give Ludmila a little time to set her screen sharing, the 12% reduction in bundle size right now that you've seen in ngx-Bootstrap, is that like something you expected, or are you hoping for a little bit more? Or are you expecting in Angular 9 when it releases that it'll be a lot better, or like what are your expectations there in a sense?
I think 12% it's good result, but I hope it will be much more better.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the promise that they made, yeah.
For now, we try to fast add to ngx-Bootstrap support of Ivy, and when Ivy become perfect, ngx-Bootstrap already will be support.
Yeah, you'll be ready for it. That's fantastic. Good stuff. Are you ready, Ludmila?
Right.
Yeah.
Looks like yes. Do you hear me well?
We have two screens. Is that what you want?
It's not that what I want, but looks like I always screen share in two screens, so you will see the first one and the second one. Hope it's not boring. It's not so bad for you.
If you can, if you want to. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Bonnie.
No, I was just saying we have some people that watch it on mobile, and it might be a little bit hard because it's going to be a bit too small for them to see it. So I don't know if you can zoom in on one side or the other, or if you want to try it, because I think if you turn off your screen share and try it again, it should give you the option to pick which screen. Or is that's one long curved monitor, right?
It proposed me to share only one. This is the issue, but maybe I can make a full screen and then it will be possible. But no, only one.
That's okay. Well,
That's
so
right.
if you just whatever you're talking about, if you could just try to zoom in as much as you can, because I know they're going to tell us to take this.
First of all, just want to show you our library and say a few words about what is this. So you see our demo site, and in ngx-Bootstrap, it's a library for developers. Everyone developer can use our components, which written by with Angular, and what goods we have. So we have a lot of demos, we have a lot of documentation, and one more point, installation really very easy. So we need to make a few actions to, for example, implement a few of components. We have a lot of components you see in my screen now. It's accordion, alerts, buttons. I suppose that the most useful and the most popular component is date picker. Date picker, it's just a standard component maybe with basic functionality. And what we have in our demos, first of all, we're showing the basic component without any additional configuration. It's just default. And any other our demo show how specific config setting will affect the default behavior. So when you're just going to any demo example, you will see how it will looks like in your application. This is a few words about ngx-Bootstrap, but about testing, this library, it's maybe, from my point of view, it's much interesting. And I want to tell you a bit about our process, which we currently support in ngx-Bootstrap. So we have our library in a GitHub repository. And how do you think, how many testing stages we have in our library?
We have to guess?
Yes, just guess how many testing stages you will expect for this library.
So if we're talking about stages, let me try and set the scene here. So we're talking about like for each component, there's a certain amount of steps it has to take, or are we talking about unit test coverage, or are we talking about?
We're talking about just different types of testing which we can implement to the whole list of components.
Whew. I'd say 3.
Okay, let's see what we have. I ask you because we have very complicated and huge testing process. Our testing process divided into 2 sides. First, it's manual testing, and the second, it's automated testing. Automated testing consists of a lot of stages. Let me show you just stages which we have for each commit. We have Travis configuration file, and Travis will run for us a specific job. And this is our testing stages. So what we have here, first of all, we have unit tests for each component, which will be run for current Angular version, for latest Angular version, and next Angular version.
Wow.
So we need to understand our library will be compatible with a previous, next, current Angular version or not. We need to provide to our developers huge compatibility. So we have this unit test. Except of this, instead of this, we have also Cypress tests. In each commit, we run Cypress smoke test. This test is for demo components. So this, as example, date picker demo page test suite will cover main basic date picker functionality. What does it mean? It means that we will open date picker, we will open basic demo, and we will check all functionality which we have here. Navigating to different months, navigating to year, choosing any date, checking that this date exists, checking that after second click it's shown. So the full user scenario. And this is only for basic demo. And what we have when we merge this pull request to development branch, we have another image. Let's see what we have. We have branches. Development, it's our main branch. And here we go, the latest build. We have this type of testing. We have then auto-deploy, and we have post-deploy testing. This stage include integration Cypress tests, which cover every demo from our side. So it means that now we will go to each demo and check specific functionality of this demo. Just as example, when we go to the custom date format, our Cypress test will check that we're open our date picker, click on any date, and this date in appropriate format. When we click on another date picker with another date format, we expect the date format changed. And this related for each merge to development branch. But when we merge in a lot of stuff to development, we have specific time when we plan to release a new version. And with creating a new version, our story much more huge. So we can go to the branches, and I will show you the latest our version. Latest version, it was 5.1.2. And here we have another stage. It's post-deploy testing again, but we also add in such type of testing to our production environment. So we have 3 types of environments. First one is server-side rendering. The second one is instance with latest Angular.
Ludmila, could you zoom a little bit on the Travis CI page?
Yes, sure.
It's a request from chat. There you go. Thank you.
And here we have also few stages to the Cypress test for production instance. It means that we will go to our real production demo site and check in all functions, all user stories, all our functionality, config settings, and so on. And this is all about automated tests, which we have. Of course, after that, we also have Cypress dashboard, which show us our test runs. Hope you see it now. Just example, for development branch, for the latest merge to development, we have 700 tests, and it takes about 40 minutes. And it's all about automated testing, but also we produce manual testing, and happens it always when we planning to release huge technical stuff like Ivy. Ivy is as Vitaly say, new technology which we implemented to ngx-Bootstrap. And I, as a QA engineer, I need to make sure that our library will work with Ivy and without Ivy, and our all functionality will not be broken after this implementation. So what I need to do, I need to go to a specific pull request with Ivy implementation. I always do this stuff. And then I need to clone all changes locally and make manual testing of this functionality. What does it mean? It means that as a developer, I have a few testing applications, a few applications which uses ngx-Bootstrap, and I need to install new version of ngx-Bootstrap to my test application, and then I need to check if all functionality works as expected. So doing this functionality, these types of testing manually. And when I'm sure that everything is okay, it's ready for smoke testing of the demo and then ready to merge. All this testing types, we applied to Ivy change, and for now, Ivy already in our release, and our library compatible. Let me show.
Can you zoom it for a bit?
Yes. Zoom in now. So, oh, it's huge, huge, huge. Stop, please. And now let me show from what version we started supporting Ivy. From version number 5.1.1, we start to supporting Ivy in our demo, but from version 5.1.0, our library is compatible with another application when Ivy enabled. So looks like that's it. And one more thing which I want to show you now. It's about current stage on Travis. So when we just enabled Ivy, we understand that some our developers which using ngx-Bootstrap will use Ivy enabled, and someone no. So we added new stages to our Travis configuration, and we check in workability of ngx-Bootstrap with 2 flags. Hope it will provide me since to be sure that ngx-Bootstrap really will work with any application. And looks like we have a good job. We did a good job, because for now we don't have any Ivy related issues in ngx-Bootstrap. So that's it.
Thank you.
You wrote all this testing code for this library?
With Vitaly, we together write and test. So Vitaly mostly responsible for unit testing, and I'm responsible for integration, smoke testing, Cypress testing, something like that.
I mean, it really looks, when you go through it, it looks so simple because you can see it all. I don't think it was simple to set it up, but it just looks very, it's like, oh, look at all this information. You can just click on this and then you can see this. And it's just all
look at all
nice
the green
simple.
check marks as well, right?
Yeah. You guys made this look very easy. And I know that it wasn't as easy as it looked, but it looks very nice and easy and beautiful.
700 tests. It's a lot.
700 tests. That is a lot, yeah.
But just imagine it's only 40 minutes and you understand is it work or not. I'm just very lazy QA. I don't like click on links and so on, but like, that's why I wrote.
You know what they say. Exactly. You know what they say about developers. There's no developer like a lazy one. But in regards of the 40 minutes, do you like that dev experience 40 minutes, or like does it affect how many commits and pushes you do a day, or like, does it change your workflow in any way that it's 40 minutes? Because I can see how 40 minutes is a long time in a day.
It's 40 minutes only for the full scope of testing. So let me share screen again. Maybe I just didn't show you this, but this is Cypress dashboard, and 700 tests, it's for development branch, but we have 92, it's smoke testing, and it takes 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Less than 5 minutes is perfect, yeah.
For each commit, so we just take 5 minutes to run Cypress test for all basic functionality.
I see. Yeah. So then the 750 test is like, is that a daily build? Is that like an hourly build? Well, how have you managed that? Does it run when anything gets merged into develop or something?
Yes, when we merge pull request to development, then we run this test. It could be once per day, it could be a few times per day, it could be a few times per week, maybe, when we develop huge changes in a big pull request.
Yeah, I see. That's cool. All right, so then the 40 minutes is bearable, I guess. I mean, when you have merged your stuff, your job's done basically, so you're just waiting and you can do something else in the meanwhile. No, but you can do other things in the meanwhile when it's running.
Course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, awesome.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for the demo. I appreciate this a lot, and thank you for putting this library together for all of us to use, because it's beautiful and I love it. And the tests, I love the fact that you guys are testing it against future Angular. Like, that's like, I saw that and I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's super nice.
Testing against future Angular releases. Like, I want to be just like you when I grow up.
I absolutely agree with that. That's so nice that you test against the next version of Angular. That's so mature in a sense.
That is very impressive. Okay, so I know we got a really late start today, and so I think we're gonna wrap it up here, and so that'll be it for this week of ngHouston. You guys, I really hope that you'll come back and just come back every once in a while and show us what you're working on, and let us know how Dimitri's treating you. And if you guys have any problems with Dimitri, you let us know, and we'll go tell him. He has to be nice to you because you guys are amazing. But I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Vitaly, and really, I have to say, Bjorn, thank you for saving our butts, because there would not have been a show today at all without Bjorn. I was pinging him on Twitter, going, Bjorn, are you online? I need your help like right now, and he just showed up and saved the stream. So thank you, Bjorn. The show's dedicated to you today. You're awesome.
Thank you. No problem. To see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. So, do I take it down now, or?
Yeah, take it down. Well, you have to take it down because you're in control of the stream.
I am aware. All right, so thank you for watching, people, and hopefully see you next week when Bonnie will have her stuff figured out again. Should be a lot better. Oh wait. Oh, okay. Oh, Centric said thanks for ngx-Bootstrap, I guess. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sure Bonnie will pass that message along. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye bye.